What's going on, man? It's your boy Dev back again with another industry interview. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. But you know, as we do, we come to you straight, live, raw, and uncut, interviewing people that are in various industries. I happen to have another brother with me today who is a producer just like me. I actually met him in a beat battle. I got my man Mike Vence here with me. What's going on, man? How's everything?
How you doing, Dev? Good, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you, man. And the funny thing is, we have never met in person. This is our first time meeting in person. I met him, like I said, in a beat battle on Instagram. It was an Instagram live. A DJ was doing a beat battle, and both him and I entered. And I think we went up against each other in round one, right? The first round?
Round one.
Unfortunately, I think I came away with a W. I lost in the second round, but you know, Mike had some heat though. I'm not even gonna front. Like he had some crazy, like he had some heat, man. And I've been following your journey ever since, bro. So I'm happy to have you here with me, man. We're just gonna chop it up a little bit, talk about your journey, man. Talk about what some current projects you got going, and just keep it real casual. So, man, tell them who you are. Tell them who Mike Vence is.
Amen, man. Well, Mike Vence the Dean is the dub.
Okay.
Is the title. From North Jersey, Bergen County, born and raised.
Nice.
Jersey City for a long time. Producer, songwriter, engineer, entrepreneur, surgery, a little bit of everything.
Right, you do it all.
I was saying
man.
you before, man. Like, you ever since you mopped the floor with me in that battle, we've been following each other, right? And you kind of see that there's a lot of contrast in my life, which kind of is what keeps it interesting, man. So we'll get into all that, man. But I'm looking forward to it, bro. Sure.
Absolutely, man. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's really what I want to talk about today, kind of how you balance it all, man. Like you do, like you said, you do surgery by day. I mean, sometimes music by day and surgery, like your hours are crazy, but you know, talk about the grind a little bit. Talk about how you balance what you balance.
It is difficult to put that kind of all into perspective on how to balance it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you're bringing that up first, because I really truly feel it's arguably the most important word in your dictionary.
Yes.
When you're trying to have success in an industry, especially like music, that is very difficult to make a move, right?
Yes.
So balance is like an art form, and you don't just get it.
Right.
It's like a job to balance things. So I've got a little bit of a process every day to kind of make sure that I'm not missing on things. And it's things that a lot of people already know, and a lot of people already do it, but you have to stick to it. First thing I'm doing is I've got just a log, just pieces of paper, just a journal. I know what the main priorities are, and I will kind of organize them in I do the most difficult things first in the day. Now, mind you, I'm ADD as hell. like the diagnosis is there, and it's been like that since day one. So I do have to make sure that I'm organized. It's like the biggest thing.
Yes.
And for people like me, I had to identify, when is my brain the most active? When is it the most powerful? That is when, for me, it's in the morning. And so if it's surgery that day, and it's always in the morning, so that's helpful.
Right.
But if there's no surgeries and it's music, I'm the guy that wakes up and goes right to the studio.
Gotcha.
A lot of people record at night. I'm doing it with my first cup of coffee in the day.
Yeah.
Because that's when it's active. So I do the most challenging things first, which is typically creativity, where you're really exercising your mind. You're not just processing things. You have to think things through.
Yep.
So jotting it down, most difficult, most pressing things first.
Yep.
It's busy work at night. But I will not end the day unless every damn thing is checked off.
Wow.
It's a blessing and a curse, though.
Yes.
Because that type of work ethic is a requirement, I feel. But that's to your professional life for the most part. Look, I'm a married man. I think you are too, or?
Not married yet, but we're headed down that path.
Plenty of obligations, though, outside of what we do professionally, right?
Yes, sir, yes.
And man, like, especially with music, man, it is real easy to get lost in the sauce.
Definitely, yeah.
So it's hard to walk away, for me at least. I'm a little like OCD. I hate walking away from unfinished things.
Yeah.
But when it's 6 o'clock and my wife comes home and I still got things to do, it's hard for me to walk away.
Yeah.
So I really make sure that I'm really diligent with the time it takes for me to check these things off the list, because the goal for me is have it all done by 6.
Yes. Okay.
So that I can be a husband when my wife gets home.
That's important.
Right. And so just to kind of, there's got to be boundaries.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the one rule that I try and stick to.
Yeah, and you know what though, if that keeps you organized, that keeps you on task, bro, you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Process is different for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I think mine is very similar to yours, and you touched on something that I kind of want to expound on just a little bit, which is balance. Like that is, you're right, like that's a word that you have to have. And I mean, you, again, being a married man, having other obligations outside of music, I think if you could touch on kind of how you and your wife established, you know, this is what I'm doing, you know, I'm not going to stop. So because it's important to have somebody as your significant other that understands the grind, understands the hustle,
Absolutely.
understands the hours that you have to put in. So talk about that a little bit before we move on to another topic.
I feel like this is something that a lot of people are going to relate to.
Yeah.
Look, I've only been in this music game for about 3.5 years or so.
Yep.
So I'm more green than most people that are making some moves here. But music and anything art related, I feel like it's got like a stigma. Like if you're a gym junkie, people get that. Like your day's not complete unless you're at the gym. Some people like to make it a profession by being a personal trainer or something like that. But a lot of people kind of look at this just like, oh, cool, but how's that going for you? Like there's just so many people that want it, and there's such a large failure rate, you know, with this.
Yeah.
Like the success rate is not very high.
Right.
Maybe one day it'll be easier to have some wins in this game or not. But I remember initially my wife, and much like a lot of other people, started to give me a similar talk track when I would bring this up. Like, why? Like, dude, you got a successful surgery career. Like, you kind of made it. Like, correct. But at the same time, it's a sales job, and I'm working for somebody. My dream was to be an entrepreneur. But I'm not going to go represent a product or a service that I really don't give a shit about. And this was always a dream of mine. And I just went for it one day. And when my wife started to see the sacrifice, me being locked in and not being available as much as I used to, not really hanging out as much. You know, people are like, where the hell you been, man? Like, I'm locked in.
Yeah.
So it was not difficult, but my wife was always a supporter, but not as much as others. You know, because this is different. A spouse is different.
Yeah.
Like, they know you better than anybody. Like, you share in obligations, you share in the risks and the rewards of what you do. So like what I do is almost a representation of her. And likewise. Where I got lucky though is that my wife is even more of a boss than I am.
Nice.
Baller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Her and her brother run a very successful clinical skincare company. And it's a small business, but they're doing their thing. They're in Elmwood Park. The company's called Phytoceuticals. That's why I look so good.
Nice. Some game there.
I don't crack, man.
Phytoceuticals is what it's called?
Phytoceuticals.
Phytoceuticals. Hit them up. Look, he's got the fountain of youth right there.
Top shot. It really is, man. It's unbelievable. But hats off to Amira. My wife, she's just an ace. Awesome, that's the balance. That's how it works because she understands it. And we'll get into this, but the minute I was in the studio with Jadakiss, that became very real for her. She became not really a doubter, but more realistic. Like she's a probabilistic thinker like me. What are the odds Mike is going to make it? Knowing my caliber, I think maybe I ranked a little bit higher in the odds than most. But you don't see money early, like placements. Like, bro, it's like it's not easy.
No,
you know. And all of a sudden, once they started to kind of slowly happen, next thing you know, within a very short period of time of me even getting started with this, I'm in the studio with a legend who she is his biggest damn fan. Just like me growing up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she's in the music video with me.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, holy shit. She saw the light.
Yeah.
Now she is just right behind me
now
in everything
she sees
I do.
It. Bro, that's funny that you mentioned that because I want to touch on the money that it takes because that is something that I think a lot of people overlook or they look at, hey, I can skip this step or kind of cut this corner. It's not how it works, but we're going to touch on that.
We'll get there.
But bro, that moment that, you know, it becomes real for other people that have been your support system and that may have looked at it as like, all right, you know, we're going to support you because this is what you love to do, but we don't necessarily know how far you're going to get. I've had so many of those moments, like with my parents, I think with my sister, and, you know, my girl, I would say, you know, with her, I think she's always kind of believed, though. I mean, she's always been the one to tell me, like, no, you're going to make it. Like, you're good. You know what I'm saying? But there's just been moments that have been defining where they're like, oh, shit, like, wow. You know what I'm saying?
It's real.
Like, it's real.
This is really real.
It's happening. But let's go back to the money thing, man, because you're absolutely right. It takes a lot of money, not just investing in equipment, but a lot of people, I think, neglect the entire marketing side of it. So talk a little bit about that and kind of what that process has been like for you and any advice you want to give.
So 1,000%. You know, so I took almost like a reverse role to a lot of producers and musicians. I was always a musician in some way, shape, or form. I was a drummer, shredding drum sets my whole life, all different genres and stuff like that, man, just killing it, right? That was a hobby. It was fun. But, you know, my family, my parents were entrepreneurs. And you know, some people are like born and raised, like it's like your path is already carved for you from your parents. That was kind of similar for me, but it wound up actually working out. So
Nice.
again, it's always been like my business. So I started off in business and doing shit that I didn't like in business. I got some funny stories about on how I wound up in the surgery game. But long story short, I had a pretty good 13-year professional business career that still exists. The reason why that's a blessing really is because the music is a business.
Yeah.
However,
absolutely.
it's arguably the most difficult business because art is subjective.
Absolutely.
The most subjective thing ever.
Yep.
You could think you're fire, but the next guy doesn't, and that's what matters, unfortunately.
exactly.
Sometimes. Now look, you gotta love what you do, and you gotta love your music, and keep doing that. You know, but you're gonna take so many L's in this thing, and if you can just get over that for a minute, make sure that that's an expectation for you. You're gonna get them. The L's are gonna come. You only need a couple W's though to make the moves, right?
Absolutely.
And to put yourself in a good position though to win, you have to understand the business side of things.
Yes.
Can't neglect the art. You gotta love that, but understand the business side of things, not just in music, but just in general. So, you know, my professional career started, I'm one of those enterprise rent-a-car dudes.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
And this all happened because, you know, in college, on my business capstone class, I had to pick a company profile out of a hat and write a whole term paper on why this particular company is so successful. Wound up being enterprise. Like a rent-a-car company? Okay. What choice do I have? Fine, like, whatever. So I was able to do a hell of a lot of homework because I had to in college about this company.
Right.
Go figure. I graduate. First phone call comes from enterprise. But what they were so known for was, again, they breed really well-rounded, sharp business people. But that job is difficult. You get your dick kicked in every day. People can be evil, bro. Like, everyone knows it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just brutal. So for like 4 years, I'm working on weekends, working crazy hours, not making a lot of money, but moving my way up the ranks to have kind of like some ownership in the branches. Now I start understanding balance sheets and statements and being able to make strategic decisions, proper marketing. Where's the money come from? Like, how can we do this, right? And once I felt like I was ready to take on more of an entrepreneurial role, I left that and I got into like the finance and insurance business, where I built a book of business from scratch. No help. Guerrilla, like boiler room, cold calls.
Yeah, man.
Like selling shit to my friends, like which I hated doing, but I had to, right? And a lot of difficult shit, man. Like, and I didn't want to do all that stuff. It's like I love entrepreneurial positions,
right?
But there's a lot of entrepreneurial positions that are boring and shitty. Insurance, like I'm pushing paper, like it's not exciting, but like, you know, like you can make some money and it's good. It's yet another learning experience. So I guess long-winded answer to your question, but 12 years it was just business day in and day out. What that does is it gives you perspective. The more you experience and the more woke you are in life, just without you realizing it, you know a lot of shit. And your brain sometimes makes connections for you. And sees similarities and sees contrast in all these sorts of businesses. So what wound up happening was I saw what worked in all these different industries, and I saw how ass backwards the music business was. It was the opposite of what I thought it would be. Your music's dope, you're gonna make it. Nope, not at all. So it's like, how do you make this work? You gotta look at music like a business first and apply standard business techniques, but then narrow it down and really identify the mind of your audience. And how do you do that? And now it goes back to money. Okay, it's 2021, everything's digital now, okay? If you are trying to make moves in the music business and you don't understand SEO, you know, the social platform, like the algorithms, how to influence them the right way without being a complete fugazi, you know, and to understand your audience. Like, bro, any artist, just as a producer, I wasn't hustling beats early. I was asking artists just to, like, I would pay them. I paid a few of them. Give me an hour just so I can pick your brain for a minute. I want to understand, like, how you think. How do you find beats? Like, where do you go? Like, is it sounds? Is it followers? Are you trying to find a more popular? Like, what is it? Try to do that as much as I can, just to profile out what my target audience might be. How do I access them? And it wound up being a combination of old school guerrilla marketing, knock on the door, DM, like, you know, just persistence. And then there's strategy. Money is where the strategy comes in. Again, just higher rankings, SEO, keywords, and just really constantly paying attention to trends in the business and just really how to access. And that's just to get exposure, by the way.
Right.
Just for someone to even see Mike Vince the Dean, like, how the fuck, out of 2 million producers on BeatStars, how the hell is anyone going to find me?
Right.
Right. So again, that's just kind of simply put, just dollars. You gotta invest in this.
Have to.
Any business is not going to launch unless you invest in it.
Yes.
Music is a business. Invest in yourself. Okay. And your product is what you love, though. It's music.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But no one's going to see it or hear it.
Unless
you got to find a way to get it out there. So it sucks, though, because money's not easy to come by.
Right. Yes.
And to really make it easy to be discovered in the digital world, you pay to play.
Yeah.
The more you pay, the easier it is.
The easier it gets.
It's finding the hybrid of both. You know,
Yeah.
like making moves that don't cost anything, that are impactful, but not ignoring the other side. It's just there's really not like a formula. You just have to pay attention.
Yep.
Be woke. Understand what's going on and be nimble.
Yes. Oh, nimble.
Move quick. Be step ahead of everybody else at all times. And when you do that and you put some money behind it, you're gonna get discovered in some way, shape, or now it's just, is your music good or not?
Right.
And and that sucks because you work so. Now what if you're ass?
Right. What if nobody likes what you put out? Yeah.
Exactly, man. And that's what makes this shit so difficult.
Yeah.
But what's most important, though, in my opinion, is look, the dollars help you get discovered, right? But look, when I have an opinion on somebody and I'm just early, just without really even getting to know them, what do you see? You know, like the way you act, like the way you carry yourself is your brand.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And when your brand is impressive, like when you, like, I love hustle, work ethic, diligence, sacrifice, investing in what you do. And when I don't see that, it's not like I don't like you.
Right.
But you're going to have to convince me to think otherwise.
Right. Exactly.
But there's some people that I came across that off the bat, I'm like, this motherfucker's got it. Like, yo, let's work. You know, same page.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so, like,
for sure.
when people see that, you get the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
You know, because even if your music isn't that good, you could take some criticism and get better.
Bro.
But again, no one's going to give you that advice or even give you the consideration to even talk to you if they don't think you're about your business, man.
Bro, hard work, I tell people all the time, hard work beats talent any day. Bro. You can be the most talented person, but if you don't work hard, there's somebody out there that may not be as good as you today, but they're going to outwork you and they're going to get better than you are now. And they're going to surpass you and you're going to look back and be like, dang, what happened? So, bro, you hit that, like, you have to have that work ethic. And that's what got you, you know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Cheat code book is called Grit.
Grit, okay.
Grit. If you have never read that book, even if you don't like reading, you have to read this book.
Boom.
It is all about that, but it's the science and factual data about why that is so goddamn true.
Yeah.
Quick thing. Chapter 1, West Point. Okay? Army.
Yep.
You can't just go to West Point.
Right.
The elite of the elite go to West Point. Okay? There's two calibers of people that wind up in West Point. The gifted, that were born and just like identified as just stud human beings. And they've got all the credentials in the world, that's talent is what got them to West Point. And that's like 80% of West Point, right? 20% are people that came from nothing, but grinded their way to success. Everything was stacked up against them, but they still wound up there. So some got a layup, some had to work their way there. West Point, they do something, I forget what it's called, but it's like, I used to play a hell of a lot of football, man. It was like Hell Week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's like 3 a days, right?
Yep.
And that's the true test of, do you have what it takes? Of the 80% of the talent, the talented, gifted people, 10% of the 80% make it. The rest are gone. They quit. Like 100% of the grinders, of the 20%, all 20% of those motherfuckers are still, they make it.
Yeah.
And they're the nuclear engineers of the world. Like, bro, the book is called Grit. These are all real life stories of how grind always outweighs talent.
Yes.
If you have talent, God bless you. If you don't, get some.
Yeah, right.
But like, again, like, man, what everyone can have, if you just put some effort into it, is the grind and the hustle and the hard work.
Exactly.
And that's what the most premier people in the world, that they all have it.
Bro, and the greatest thing about that is once you grind and you hustle and you work and you're like, I'm fighting tooth and nail to get where I'm trying to go, and you have wins. You stumble upon something, or something happens where you're like, oh shit, like this was all worth it. So you had a really big win recently. You're working on some cool stuff, man. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Let's go, man. Yes, sir. So, man, like, I got somewhat lucky with this, and I'll kind of start from the beginning, but I'll make it kind of quick, bullet pointed.
Yeah.
There's an artist out of West New York, New Jersey, up north. A lot of local guys know who this is, but his name is Mesa. Fire artist.
Yep.
I mean,
Nice.
I was a fan of his before I was even in this producer game. Okay,
Yeah.
so when I heard him spitting about West New York, when I found him on a Beast Mode playlist.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm driving down Route 23 in Winter. I remember the day. I'm listening to his record, Ballin' with a Check. He just got me. Skip. This same song came on. Didn't even know who the hell it was. Like, I'm like, damn, who is this?
Yeah.
I already liked to follow it. You know, just boom, okay. Then we start talking about West New York. I'm like, bro, I lived there.
Yeah.
For mad long. I'm like, shit, all right, dope. Shoot him a text message or a DM one day as a fan.
Right.
No, and look, I was just starting in the production. I went on that trip, on that ride, just to go get some inspiration. What's hot out there? What's on Beast Mode? What's on Rap Caviar? What are the sounds?
Right.
And let's face it, a lot of the same shit. Snappy ass trap drums and some dope 808s, and the rest is on the artist. So I'm like, all right. And all of a sudden that shit came on, and I was just like hooked. So shoot him a DM, nothing about music. Like, yo, I'm just saying, I lived in West New York too, man. I just found you today. I just dipped into your catalog. You've been doing this for like 8 years. Damn. Like, yo, you just got a new fan, bro. Like, keep doing your thing. Appreciate you, man. Like, keep rapping for Jersey. Like, you're killing it.
Yeah.
He responded. He's very good with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, bro, it's the first artist that ever like got back to me. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, dope, man, awesome. And then then I grew it. Here we go. That was about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2.5 years ago or so. And beat battles. He was a judge on the ones that he saw my L's from Dev. He saw it.
But hey,
but listen, he mopped the floor with me. But I'm like, nah, not fuck Dev. I'm like, yo, Butch killed it.
Yeah.
Like, damn, like, I'm bowing down, man. Like, yo,
Thank
salute,
you,
bro. Like, you got it, right? And I remember Messa's comment, like, yo, like, Mike Vince, like, your attitude, bro, ace.
Yeah.
So again, just these little things. I was just around. I was never like, line of sight with him, but I was always around.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, man, he's tapped in. He's following me now, and he hears the music. Kind of got to know me a little bit. Saw me in the operating room a little. Just kind of got to see a little bit of what my ethics looked like.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm at his house with his wife and his kid, popping champagne, signing a deal with him to executively produce his next album.
Dope, man. That's what's up.
Which was all me for now. And like, yo, he's Jadakiss called him a Spotify killer. He's not a household name yet. He's going to be.
Yeah.
But this guy, he puts up numbers. Like, and
Nice.
his
That's
sound
what's
is
up.
fire.
That's dope.
So I'm shitting my pants, but I'm also excited as hell.
Right.
You know, because I'm like, I never compared myself to anybody in this game. That's not how I do it. I don't benchmark things. I go about things the way that I feel this makes sense. I don't compare myself to others. Like, I got my own little sound and whatever. So I'm like, I hope he likes my shit, man, because we're about to do an album, and like my catalog's a little light, so I it's just like I just turned it on.
Yeah.
And the end result is Ides of March 15th, 2021.
Dope.
Album's dropping, features all over the place. Top 5 Dead or Alive is our headliner on it. Jadakiss is on my fucking first album. Like, are you kidding me?
That's dope, bro.
So
That's
while
awesome.
we're recording this, I'm formulating the Syndicate, my producer label, which we can talk about later. Man, like, it really turned on right there.
Yeah.
And the challenge was I'm still doing fucking surgery.
Yeah.
Too. Like,
yeah.
it was the craziest 8-9 months lately. It was insane. So again, you'll see. Ides of March, 15th of March.
15th of March.
Can't wait. It's insane. I mean, 9 videos that we've been shooting all across the country. We got Nate Hale, Nate Dogg's son, on the album. Jadakiss, Roxanna Montana, Rich Ice. If you know who Rich Ice is, Rich Ice.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Harlem.
Tapped in with Rich
Bro,
Ice.
Biscuit. is Bizkit, man.
Yeah.
Yo, he's a rapper now. Like he said, I'm a rapper now.
Yeah.
He's a rapper now, bro. You'll see.
That's crazy.
All over the record, man. We got a feature on every goddamn rap. It's just, I couldn't have asked for more for my first project.
That's dope.
To do. A lot of pressure. Proud that I persevered through it, and my camp did too.
Nice, man.
You know, so we'll get more into it, man. But I'm amped. I can't wait.
Dude, camp, team, all of that.
It's everything,
bro. That's what I want to touch on. First and foremost, congrats on all of that, man.
Thank you, man.
I'm excited. I can't wait
Thank you.
until that music comes out. I'm not sure when this is gonna air, but if it's already out, make sure you go stream that. If it's airing before March, be on the lookout. But
Ides of March.
Ides of March is coming. But bro, team, camp. Talk about how you formed the Syndicate, how you guys all came together and said, you know what, we're like-minded individuals, we're all after the same goal, let's combine resources and make this happen.
Exactly.
Because again, a lot of artists, a lot of producers, a lot of creatives don't understand the impact a team can have. You can't do it by yourself. So talk about that, talk about how that's played into your success.
First of all, get over yourself. You can't do all that yourself.
Facts.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
You can try and do it as your brand, but even if you don't incorporate other people, you have to work with it. It's too much to do by yourself. So I formed a syndicate with the concept of power in numbers.
Yes.
And that rings true a lot, especially in production, man. Like, there's a lot of dope producers out there. So we'll get to that. But really, it came down to this. I needed help. I do a good job balancing, but I look at what success looks like. Let's just say I'm just on the online beat sales thing. Yeah, you got guys putting up like 20 fucking beats a week.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't got time for that.
Right, yeah.
Like, maybe if I'm just dragging and dropping shit all day and just like cranking it out, like
right.
Maybe. It's not how I do it though. So I knew I was gonna need help. I saw how difficult it was to make an impact. And once I started having a little bit of success, I didn't want to say I cracked the code, but I was on my way. I put myself out there a lot. That I'll refer back to that beat battle again, man. Like, it's a ballsy move when you don't know if you're good or not, because you're going up on stage and you might get roasted. If you're a young producer, do it. Put yourself out there. Definitely. It's okay if you suck. Believe it or not, there's a lot of support out there.
100%.
Like, no one's knocking
100%.
you. Okay. Fear is the reason why a lot of people won't win. Get rid of it. Put yourself out there. I put myself out there as much as I possibly could. Talked to so many producers, just chit chat and spitting ideas back and forth. And a lot of the consistency is like, dude, it's just fucking hard. You need money to be discovered, and it's like you get burnt out. You want to collaborate, but like you're like protective of what the results gonna. It's fear and it's concern and stuff, right? Yeah. So I'm like, look, it's difficult to do by yourself. BeatStars, last time I checked, 1.6 million producers around the world. How are you going to do that by yourself? How are you going to be number one by yourself? It's going to be difficult.
Odds are very low, right?
So I went out there and I identified where I might be weak from a production standpoint, from like an efficiency standpoint. I know what I'm good at. I've got some lanes. I'm not perfect. Where do I lack? Fill that hole. I need to find somebody that can fill that hole for me. I mix and master all my music. That takes me just as long as making the beat. All right. I know some fire engineers that are super fucking talented. Shout out to Hollybugs, that's my third partner.
Nice.
All right, Hollybugs, like crazy. So then I found my other partner, Smitty Gritty. All right, so it's a 3-person partnership right now. Okay. Kind of ran by me, orchestrated by me. I kind of delegate the workflow together. But what I was looking for was a financial partner that was going to share in the expenses. In order to do that, the person needs to be just as ambitious as I am and to be as hungry as I am. That's easy to find, but the person also needs to understand business. That's true. My man Smitty is an ex-financier, finance guy, accountant. We met back in the day at an insurance conference, like some cheesy ass insurance conference, but me and Smitty are the fucking clowns. 10 years ago, making the most boring thing fun somehow. Right? And we stayed in touch. A decade later, he's my business partner, right? Nice. He's a nasty sampler. His arrangements, crazy. That's for me. Arrangements are supposed to be simple. They can be, but bro, sometimes cutting the drums for a step makes or breaks a record. Like, man. You know what I mean? He was a DJ for a long time. Like, he's just got amazing musical ear, business savvy, speaks the language, starving like I am to have success in this. Perfect. He's a sampler, not a sound designer.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
He's got his sound. Okay, so there's the sound holes that I filled.
Yes.
I got my financial partner now. How do we become more efficient? Because I can't mix and master everyone's work.
Right.
Yo, Bugs, let me tell you something. Let me run something by you really quick. On board. Boom.
Dope.
Beats. Light processing. Bugs, mix and master. Up to the store, up to B-Stars. Next, flying. So now, us three, we're doing somewhere between like 6 and 10 beats a week. That catalog, you already know, is gonna just explode. We got some private stock for the whales that we're hunting all the time.
Yeah.
And then we just got stuff that's still fire on the internet, and then we're working that, and it's just hunting for some publishing deals, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
You know, so, but again, it's all about concept, the power in numbers, and we're still looking to expand this. I built the business model, though, off of insurance and real estate models. So, and I'll use Keller Williams as an example, real estate company. Keller Williams is a very recognizable brand, okay? They don't pay salaries and stuff like that. You're a realtor, it's a commission, it's a performance-based career. But when you have a strong brand backing you up, it increases your chance to win. They put the money behind the marketing, and it's helpful. It's actually similar to this, right? And so what what I did was, you're part of the syndicate, you are still allowed to be your own brand. My boy Bruce, top dog at Keller Williams, he's Bruce.
Yeah.
He's repping, Keller Williams, that's the tag that's on the ship, but there's Bruce, you're talking to Bruce.
Right.
So I built this, that anyone that comes on board with the syndicate, there's requirements, and it's really just ambition and some talent. I can't teach everyone everything.
Right.
I'm the dean, but not,
Right.
I can't always be the dean.
Right.
The concept is, look, again, I'll say it again, power in numbers. The bigger this grows, I'm putting everything I got behind it. You are your own artist. You are your own brand. But you're in this camp. The syndicate is a camp. Syndicate's the movement. It's the group. Whatever the hell you want to call it.
Right.
We're a producer group. You do your thing. I'm doing my thing. He's doing his thing, and we're all just kind of grinding independently for one common ultimate goal, which is to fucking win.
It's big.
Period. And there's no ceiling to it. So it's simply put, it's like revenue that's generated, cash, royalties, whatever the hell it is. 20% goes to the house, just like all these other things.
Right.
Because we're funding it.
Right.
We're putting it behind you.
Gotta
keep your money in your pocket.
Yeah.
I got you. Like, let's just do what you do best. Make music.
Wow.
Okay. And so that said, there's no borders. Smitty Gritty's in LA. We're here in Jersey. I'm talking to guys that are all over the country that might want to come on board. The sacrifice is 20% for the house, but you just do your own analysis. Are you winning right now? No. Is it a risk that you might be willing to take? Probably. It's like I'm charging people to be a part of this.
Right.
It's more like, are you approved or not?
Right. Yeah.
And that's it. And just the more it grows, the more powerful the brand gets.
Nice.
And my wins are their wins are my wins. We just share in the pot, man.
Bro.
Just go. Just go.
You've got the right idea, and I mean, we're I'm doing something very similar on my end, bro. So we can. We'll talk offline, but
the answer is yes.
Yeah. I didn't know if that. Yeah, we'll definitely work that out.
If it's you, I don't care what it is. Let's go.
Hey man, I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, man.
We probably got time for one more topic, and what I wanted to touch on is you're a big sound design guy. Me as a producer, I can't do that. Like I can design sounds. I'm more of an instrument. Like I play chords but you know all about the synths and the LFOs and all of that stuff, which I'm learning. But talk about that, man. What's your creative process like? How do you fine tune those sounds?
This is the beauty of this whole music thing, man. There's no right or wrong way to do shit.
Exactly. Yes.
It's 2021. You can make some fire music.
Yeah.
Without knowing your music theory and stuff like that, right? So I'm a drummer, right?
Yep.
Just like you.
Yep.
But you're also a musician, though. You can play your progressions, and you know what D flat type of emotion you might get at, and that's a science in itself.
Yep.
I come from like a sciencey background. Like my mother's side of the family, they're fucking mad scientists. They're crazy. My father's side, they're all just like the grinders. So I'm kind of in the middle. I get to appreciate both sides. I find the most fun by experimenting with the fact that sound is infinite. Like it's literally infinite. There's no cap. You can make anything sound like anything you want and turn it into something that's musical. So
that's true.
So my approach on things is, if I want to play my notes myself, I'm a very big MIDI guy. So if I have an idea of a direction that I want to go in, I can do it.
Right.
You know, I'm not Mozart, but look, I use machine. I go C sharp, and just I'm in key.
Right.
Like, I hit chord. Like boom. What augmented, like whatever. Like okay, it's there, but there's more that goes into that. So it's like okay, I'm not perfect. It's going to take a very long time to be a master of music theory, a master of mixing and mastering and engineering, and a master of songwriting. It's just where do I find the most fun?
Right.
And it's the sound side of it,
nice.
Which is kind of what makes my sound a little bit unique. And a lot of it has to do with my musical background. I listen to all genres. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to focus. I listen to movie scores, classical music, listen to old boom bap, sampled shit, dope. But for a while, I didn't like. When I was in college, I didn't like a lot of rappers that were out. Very few. So I wasn't listening to as much hip hop anymore. That's right around the time that EDM trap started making an impact, where it's I was always a beat guy though, through and through.
Right.
If there was a rapper that was on a record that was ass, but the beat was ridiculous, I'm still running that shit.
To that record, yep.
Oh, like all day. I'll just tune out the words and just rock, to the music.
Yep.
So for a while, I started to get away from hip hop, and I started listening to artists like Bass Nectar, and just like these EDM style guys. It wasn't really about that culture, but their ability to morph sounds and to just lure you in with a sound was crazy to me.
Yeah.
And that's what I find the most fun about production. So what I'll do is, since my music theory is I don't sample much, but I'll buy MIDI packs instead. So MIDI's no sound. You got to make the sound, but I use notes from other people if I'm locked up. I'm just blocked up in some way, and that's where it starts. Believe it or not, I'm a drummer, but I don't start with drums. Wow. 'Cause that's the easy part.
That's me too, yeah.
It's the easy part. Like, I'll drum the fucking anything. And make it ridiculous.
Right.
But the hard part is making the sound and the melody right.
Yeah.
And so, again, just audition some MIDI notes. Something will speak to me. And then whether it's from a sine wave and from scratch, or a preset that I'll just completely mangle and then even resample it sometimes. I'm the guy that gets locked. Look, if you can't capture an audience in the first 5 seconds of a record, you're done.
Yep.
It's like it never happened.
Yep.
Sometimes it's the sound. The Jadakiss record, what got him out of Yonkers to do this record with me was when the first note hit, he's like, I got off the seat.
Wow.
And just some keys that I did in Massive X, and then a gliding respace from Substance, from Output. And just built it like that.
Nice.
The sound design part for me is just fucking fun, bro, because it's infinite.
Yeah.
You know, you just hear it change.
Yeah.
And so if you can do that, you can sample the shit out of anything you want.
Anything.
It's just like, it's hard though.
Yeah.
And it takes time to understand that. But I always said, if I got that phone call one day from the dream artist that I wanted to work with, the label reps are in the studio, I'm sorry, I can't be the guy that pops up my computer and drags a splice loop to Ableton, because I'm trying to call myself a pro.
Yeah.
Not that don't take that the wrong way, but look, I want to show off.
Yeah.
Because if you can do that, then you can sample real easy. It's no problem. Like the way that you can just adjust and create these sounds to capture an audience, I feel like that's a little bit more of a unique skill set that puts you in kind of a different category.
Yep.
And again, talk about higher percentage shots.
Yeah.
You wind up on stage and you're doing that. I tend to think that's a little bit more impressive.
Absolutely.
So that's why I focus on. That's my process.
No, that makes 100% sense, because a lot of people, I think, producers, they don't realize how. I'm going to start something when I say this, but how like if you're one of those loop draggers, and again, no disrespect to any of the producers that use loops, however you make a hit record, that's how you make a hit record. That's all it really all.
The results.
Exactly. That's it. That doesn't matter how. I relate it to bowling. You either get a strike or a spare. That's it. Like, those are the only two scores that actually matter in bowling, right? Yep. So, but they don't ask you how you got it. You know what I mean? They know you got a strike or a spare. So whether you use loops, you don't use loops, whatever. But I think setting yourself apart, making sure that you have a sound, some sort of sound, whether you're a loop dragger, and I hate saying that, I'm sorry. If you use loops, and your drums sound different, like your drum progressions are different, you have to set yourself apart, because at the end of the day, and this is where I'm going to start something, you become interchangeable. Like, there's another kid out there that's probably 15 years old that can take a loop and make a fire beat with a loop, and you have a record in 30 minutes.
Snip a millisecond out of it and turn it into an instrument.
Bro, I was literally in the studio last weekend, And there's a guy by the name of Jod Knight. Shout out to Jod Knight. Worked with everybody, producer, sound designer. And he was giving us like some tips on how to design sounds. I watched this man take a drum loop that he created, like from drums pulled and kick, snare, hi-hat, and he made it into a synth. I don't know how he did it. Ableton, he was showing us stuff in Ableton. Shout out to Ableton. But like, man.
Team Ableton.
Oh, bro. Okay, so we'll get into that in a second because we got to talk about that. And that's how we're going to end it. We're going to talk about Ableton versus Logic. But I watched him turn a drum loop into a synth in Ableton, and we had a whole sound, and we made a completely different beat. So I'm just like, wow, the things you can do with sound design are amazing, and the tools and technology that we have.
Listen,
it's crazy.
I never really told anybody this. I farted into a shitty ass mic one day just because I was mad high. And I made a fucking entire drum rack out of my own fart, bro.
But that's
my bad, I'm stupid as hell.
But that's what you gotta do.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, turn that into anything that you want. It's insane.
Yes.
To me, that's the most fun part about it.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to separate yourself.
Dude. That's
how you find your sound.
I made a beat one time out of somebody snoring. Somebody fell asleep in the studio. Literally recorded it, and he woke up and the beat was playing. He's like, "Yo, this is fun. Like, where'd this come from?" I'm like, "Bro, that was you snoring. Like, I just made a beat out of you snoring." But okay, so the last thing we're gonna end on Ableton. How long have you been using Ableton? Because I just started. I literally just started.
Ooh, 6 months after I started.
Okay.
My first piece of equipment was the Machine MK3.
Yep.
Machine fan, let's go.
Yeah, they mentioned
shredding the Machine, man. But when I realized my mixes suck. And it's impossible, like, just to snip the drums out for a step. Yeah. Like, I had to do a whole new. I'm like, this can't be right.
Yeah.
I didn't know any better. It's like I said, I don't compare myself to nobody.
Right.
I'm like, all right, this. I'm missing something here, though. Hold on a minute. You can choose. What do you want? Logic? Well, no, I don't have a Mac. I'm a PC dude.
Yeah.
That's out. Ableton. Look, my favorite producer, the dude I look up to the most, that I follow the most, is shout out to Decap. Decap, salute, bro. You don't even understand. I know everything I know because of you, bro.
Nice.
I saw Decap doing his thing on Ableton. I said, my mind's made up. That's it. People always talk about Fruity Loops. What the fuck is that? You know, when I was young, I'm like, Fruity what?
Yeah.
You know? It's like, well, now it's FL. Okay. I didn't choose FL because I don't like the fucking little pointy finger.
Yeah.
So I'm like, mad weird like that. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, I don't know. It just turned me off.
Yeah.
I like the way that the interface looked on Ableton. I know it's a top dog. A lot of the producers that I learned a lot from were Team Ableton.
Yeah.
That's what got me on it.
Yeah.
And look, still my VST, like I'm a third party big time. I'm like a lot of the stock stuff.
Yeah.
That's in Ableton is amazing. Although I'm not using it that much, I like simplicity. I'm big on visuals and I need the interface.
Yep.
You know, to be easy to read and like the key commands and just.
Yeah.
You know, just be quick.
Yeah, workflow for sure.
Just workflow.
Definitely. That's what I'm
fine tune your workflow, man.
Oh, dude, I'm learning that in Ableton now.
Fire. Templates.
Yes.
Racks.
Yep.
Return channels. I got a whole template, man. Every time I start a new project, it's everything I know I'm going to need.
Yeah.
Think about it. Compression, EQ, reverb, delay.
All of that.
Even if it's third-party shit, man, I press new project and I'm up and running.
Bro.
But I got some cheat code VSTs though for the producers out there. So,
Word.
Some shit. I'll tell you.
Let's not give them that.
Not too much.
Let's not give them
too
much. Let's not give them too much.
We'll get there.
Oh man, yeah. I appreciate you coming through, bro. We're probably up on our time, but I definitely want to continue this conversation at some point. We might have you back after the project comes out.
We will.
We're gonna definitely keep building, man, because I am on the same page you're on. Really respect everything you're doing. I'm glad. I hate to say it, I'm glad I beat you in the beat battle because, bro, you had a lot of things in the works, and you know what I'm saying. Like, we're both on the same journey, we're on the same path, so I'm excited to see where we both go. I'm hoping we can get there together, man.
Everything happens for a reason, bro. And like
Absolutely.
I said, if it's that B, the answer is yes.
Hey, man, appreciate that. Last thing, tell the people where they can find you. Tell them what they have to look forward to. Ides of March.
Super quick. Ides of March, March 15th. Artist is Mesa. Executively produced by the Syndicate. I am Mike Vince the Dean, IG, Mike.Vince.the.Dean. Syndicate, Holly Bugs the engineer, Smitty Gritty, my partner or the producer, and the newest member, it's Knuckle Up from Providence, Rhode Island, where I went to college.
Nice.
Ridiculous, he's on that drill shit.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
Shout out to them, shout out to my wife, Mesa, Jadakiss, Rich Ice, Roxanne, everyone that's on this album that's coming out, that blessed us with your presence in Vegas when we were recording. Salute. We're going all the way, baby. Let's go.
All the way, man. Ides of March. Be on the lookout for that. Like I said, I'm not sure when this is going to air, but if it's out, make sure you go stream that. Definitely give that a listen. I appreciate again my man Mike Vince the Dean for coming through. This has been another installment of Industry Interviews. Hit that like and subscribe button. Peace.
The Soul Studios.